Welcome everybody. So today's workshop is going to be a basic slotting workshop. So essentially we have an object that already has slots in it. This is a buffet that I ripped off of Mango Sims and just really cheap, low poly looking buffet because I wasn't trying to be super creative. The point was to illustrate the slots. So this was cloned from a 3-tile coffee table, so it already has 3 deco slots, 1 on each tile. So what I'm going to attempt to illustrate today is how to add additional slots to each tile. So I guess let's get started. Now, the way that I learned Blender was on a very old version of Blender called 2.6, and I know 2.6, or this is even older, this is 2.49. But I know this version like the back of my hand. I used to build meshes on it. I did all of my midnight on it. But I figured, well, that's not the version that most folks use today. So I decided to uh, move forward, live in the now, download and install 3.3. And I was just researching this before I started the workshop because I know basically squat about 3.3. So we start Blender. This is an important step because this is going to give us our coordinates. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then we go File, Import, Wavefront Object. And I go to my desktop and the folder for the slots workshop. And we've already got this horrendous buffet. Okay, so now, look, I took notes because I'm prepared. So we make sure that this object is selected so that we can actually enter into edit mode. We tab into edit mode, and then they move the thing. It used to be spacebar to change your select mode, but up here we have these newfangled little buttons. So we're going to select faces. Then I want that one and that one. And then I control I, and that's going to inverse it. And then I delete the faces. So we only have the top surface because this is what we need to get the coordinates from. So now we need to reselect these. Control A. Sorry, not doing it. Is it just A? Yes, it's just A. So then we go Control F. And on 3.0 is called tries to quads. So we just consolidate that one face. And I'm not a complete madman. I know what I'm doing. There's a logic to this. So then we go Control R. And that's going to create a subdivide loop. So I want to, okay, so if I were to split it up into 3, it would look like that. But I want to do more than that. I want to add 4 additional slots on each tile. So we're just going to scroll up the mouse wheel. So we've got 2 in the middle, 2 on the left, and 2 on the right. Okay. And then we go Control R again, and we're just going to split it in half this way. Come on. Okay, and then we go back to face select. And then let's select this one. Well, see, I'm not familiar at all with 3.0, so I fumble a lot. So let's select the 0 tile or the tile right over the center. We're selecting the upper left on this, and then we go Control N, or sorry, on New Blender it's just N. And this is going to give us coordinates. but we don't want it to be, we want it to be global. Okay. So now, I don't want that. In SimPE, we're going to go to my slots workshop folder, and I already have this object set up. So no, we don't want the GMDC. Before, oh, this is an important note. Before you do anything at all that involves the crest, make a backup copy. So let me go back up here. Slots workshop. Create a new folder. Then we just copy this. And for anyone playing along with the home game, I already uploaded these files into the resource thread. So if you have SimPE open, just go ahead and crack this open. So let's look how the current slots are set up on this object. So we go to the crest. Then we select the crest in the resource tree. Or sorry, from the tree and then in the list. And then we go to this tab called Crest Hierarchy. We're not super concerned with the routing slots. I just want you to have a look at the 3 coffee table slots. So we can see this is, how is this set up? So this one is 1 on the X centered on Y, which is kind of not right, and I will explain that later. And 0.796 on the Z. Okay, so I don't like that. This one is 0.25, which is completely wrong. And this one, the 2 slot, is 1.75. So the two end slots are way closer to center than they need to be for this great gigantic object. So let's hop over to Blender, but this time what I'm going to do is select these 4 faces. So it's going to give you the average for these 4 faces. So we can see that in the X, this is 0.734, or just round it up to 0.735. So we hop over, but it's a negative. So we hop over here and we hop back to this first slot. Okay, it stacks it on the center first, but it doesn't really matter because it goes by tile. So let's just start with the 0. Okay, so 0.25, but here it's negative 0.75. So let's change that. Let's make it. The thing is, whatever it expresses as a negative value in Blender, you would express as a positive for the Z and Y, or the X and Z, I'm sorry, axes. It's always going to be the opposite in Blender. The Z remains the same. Okay? So then here, oh, and then we need to change the Y because it's not quite on center, because this is a sideboard that you would push up against the wall. So the Y value is a little bit different. So positive 0.85. So we need to make this negative 0.85. Just like that. Okay, so we know that the Y value is going to be the same for all 3 slots. So then we just copy and paste to slot 1, and we just copy that and paste the Y value to slot 2. Now we know that the X value for the center tile is on center, so we don't need to worry about that. What we need to worry about is the X value for tile 2. So tile 2, it says it's 1.91 is the center, or negative 1.91. So here we just change this to 1.90. We just keep it, a nice round number. Okay, so that's going to fix the slots, the position of the slots that are currently on the object. So now, get this, we need to add 12 more slots. And we do that, we start in the crest. So we can see all of these are children of this root trans node. Or no, I'm sorry. The root trans and all of the basic slots, not the routing slots, are children. Are they children of this node? Yes. So then if we add more deco slots, they also need to be children of this node. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go over to the Edit Blocks tab. Now from the dropdown, we want to select this one, See Object Graph Node. And then we just bang on that Add button about 12 times. And you can see it added all of these. Now we need to notate these values. So we need to add from 2E to 39. And these are all hex values. Okay, so we jump back over to our crest hierarchy. And these need to be children of this node. So we just click on Add here. That's 2E. That one will make it 2F. And then that one, we're starting over at 3.0. That's 3. 3.1 is 4. 3.2 is 5. 3.3, that's 6 slots. 3.4, that's 7 slots. 3.5 is 8. 3.6 is 9. 3.7 is 10. 3.8 is 11. And 3.9, that's going to be our 12th slot. So at that point, we commit, save the modifications that we made to the crest. Then we hop back up to any other resource in the resource tree, go back down to the crest, select the crest in the resource list. Then we hop back over to the crest hierarchy tab. And let's collapse all of those routing slots that we don't really need to see. And now what happened here? All of these new object graph nodes that I added, these are now they're now child nodes of the root trans. Okay, are you with me so far? Do we have any questions at this point? Okay, so we're all following along. Now, we go ahead and we click on this one.
No questions at the moment.
Okay. So let's show that again. So we go back to the crest hierarchy tab. We'll grab the first one that we added. We just double click on that. And then we're going to this tab named See Object Graph Node. And it's got this funny name. So we're going to rename this Deco1. Keep it lowercase. Back over here. Name this Deco2. Do the same here. This is Deco3. Go back over here. This is Deco4. Go back to the hierarchy. This one is Deco5. Back to the hierarchy. Name this one Deco6. You see where this is going? There's a pattern here. And here we name this Deco7. Didn't need to do that, but it's fine. This one is Deco8. No, object graph node, Deco9. This one is Deco10. Deco11. And Deco12. Commit. Save the file. Then we just jump up to any other resource on the tree. Reselect the crest. Hop back over to the crest hierarchy. Collapse the routing slots. And now, look what happened. They're named correctly. Okay, so now we can see that the coffee table slots already have coordinates, but none of the deco slots do. So what I like to do, since we know that they're all at the same height, I just go back to the deco1 slot, copy that z value. Or I'm sorry, the first coffee table slot. I just copy that z value. Then we go deco1. Why is it not pasting? Okay. Just do the same for all 12 slots. We're just pasting that z value. Okay, so now all of our slots are at the same height. Let's select a different resource. Come back to the crest, select the crest in the resource tree, and once again, let's collapse those routing slots so that we can see what's going on. So why did my z value not change? Oh, okay, because it rounded it slightly up. So you can see where it says the z value here is 0.80 and it's the same here. Okay, so now we need to figure out the x and y coordinates. So let's start with the y. and I will explain the reasoning for that. So let's select this again. So the reason for the Y, for starting with the Y, I'm highlighting these tiles here. These 6, they're going to have the same Y value. So you're going to, it's going to put the slot node right in the middle of each of these tiles. So we don't need to, so let's see, 1 and 2, then 5 and 6, and 9 and 10 are all going to have this Y value. So the average Y for those 6 tiles is 0.24529. So we'll just call it 0.245, but that's a positive number. So let's hop back over to Deco 1. So since we know that it's positive here, or in Blender, we need to make it negative here. What did we say that was? 245. So we're making this minus 0.245. So essentially it's from the center, it's slightly back if you were looking at it from the front. Okay, so we do that with slot 1. We do that with slot 2. We do that with slot 5. Do that with slot 6. With slot 9. And with slot 10. Okay, go back up to the top. And now we're getting the Y value for these 6 tiles. So because it's butted up against a wall, these are going to be, they're not going to be exactly the opposite. So if you look at it from the center of this tile is slightly behind the center line for the object. So we can see here, these are only slightly forward of the center line. So the Y value is 0.76. Well, we'll just round it to 0.75. But this is a negative value. It's expressed in Blender as a negative, so here it's going to be a positive. So what do we say that was? 0.075. So we copy that. That needs to go on Deco 3, Deco 4, Deco 7, Deco 8, Deco 11, and Deco 12. Commit. Give that a quick save. Hop over to a different resource. Come back to the crest. Go to the crest hierarchy. And once again, let's collapse those routing slots. So now we can see the Y value has changed. They're either negative 0.25 or positive 0.8 all the way down. Okay, so now we figure out the X. So let's start with these 2 tiles. We know that these are going to have the same X value because of the same position horizontally. So the X value here is 0.156. So in SimPE, we're going to do the opposite. We'll just round it up to negative 0.155. Okay, and I'm copying that to 2. Okay, and then we hop down to slot 3, and these two tiles, they have the same X value. So this is negative 0.30. So here it needs to be positive. So I just change that first 0 to a 3. Hop over here. Do the same thing for Deco 4. Then we'll move on to Deco 5. That's this tile. So these two tiles, the X is negative 0.76. So here, I'm just going to change this to positive 0.75. We'll copy that to Deco 6. Okay. Then we select these two. This is 7 and 8. So sorry, we go to Deco 7. The value here is negative 1.122. So we make this positive, or what was it? 1.224. So let's just make that a 225. Just to make it a nice round value. When it's that tiny of a fraction, you're honestly not going to notice that it's not precise. That you can perceive up to about the second decimal is where it really makes a difference. Beyond that, it's just nitpicky. Okay, so we move on to Deco 9 and 10. And the X value for those is negative 1.684. So we change this to positive 1.685. Copy that. Paste that to Deco 10. And we've got 2 more to go. So here, let's grab these last 2 chunks of the table. The X value for these is negative 2.144. So we just change that to 2.145. Copy that. Paste it to Deco 12. Commit. Save. Select a different resource. Hop back to the crest. Select the crest in the resource tree. Go back to crest hierarchy. Collapse the routing slots. And now we can see we've got the correct X values, the correct Y values, and the correct Z values. Next, let's move to the string. And we're looking for a specific string resource named model bones. It's this one, the one that ends in 090. Last line that it references, that the slots reference, is line 15. So just grab that. Let's just add a new line. And we're going to call that Deco 1. It's the same as the name of the object graph node that we added. Then we do another one. We name that Deco 2, Deco 3, Deco 4, Deco 5, Deco 6, Deco 7, Deco 8, Deco 9, Deco 10, Deco 11, and Deco 12. So let's keep in mind these numbers in parentheses. Because the number in parentheses is what the slot resource references. So we go up here. Sorry, just scribbling this on my additional notes. So we added line 16 to 27. Okay, cool. Now let's have a look at the object data. So you can see we've got main, lead, 1, and 2. And let's switch this to decimal so that we can see what's going on. Going to collapse all of the categories till we get to mesh and not mesh and graphics. Yes, this one, resource cross references. So if we go back up to lead, so all of the slots on the lead tile are correspond to the slot resource ending in 129. So then this is kind of backwards because now the one tile, that's the tile in the center, references slot resource 128. And this one references slot resource 130. So tile 2 references slot resource 130. Okay. So that gives us a picture of what we're looking at, of what we need to do with the slot resources. So the next resource that we need to fiddle with is slot. Let's organize these by instance number. So just because the way that this one is put together is a little bit weird, let's start with 129, which is this one here. The number in parentheses is the one referenced in the object data. So we got, what's cool about this version of SimPE, it clones your slots. So let's make that a little bit bigger so we can see what we're working with. So we grab that container slot at the top and we're going to clone it. It's a little bit hard to see just because of this user profile, but there's a clone link right down here at the bottom. So what's cool is we just clone this 4 times. And it's got you don't have to see the old school way. You would copy each of these values and then paste it down over the 0. But with the clone feature in 75.69, you can just clone your previous slot. Okay, so these are our container slots. So these directly reference they directly reference in the text list 16, 17, 18, and 19. But there's a couple of things that I want to edit on them first. Okay, we don't need to move any of these. The float value is fine. Floats 4 to 6 are fine. Short values are fine. We can leave that. What I'm interested in is this int 7 value. I know for a fact that deco is 8 because I've done it so many times. So we just copy that down to these 4 new slots. We make those 8. So now we go to float 8. Okay, we go to the int 9 and int 10 values. These tell us which position the slot is in. On the int 10 is the number of the slot on the object, and int 9 is which line of the string it corresponds to. So we're starting from 16. So here we just make int 9 the int 9 value of this new one, 16. We make that one 17. Make that one 18. And we make that one 19. Okay, but we need to figure out, okay, so the last I10 value I think is 9. This is important later. Yep. So for the I10 value, let's go back over here. The last one was 9, so the next sequential number is 10. So we make that 10. That's 11. That's 12. And that's 13. Okay, so we are done with the left slot. Or, sorry, the right slot. We're done with 129. So we've done 9. So we've got 20 to 27 remaining. So then we hop over here. Let's make that a little bit wider so we can see what's going on. We only really need from the i7 over, because we have this neat clone feature in 75.69. Once again, we're going to clone the slot 4 times. Then why does it have a value of -2? That makes no sense. Oh, sorry, the i7 value is 2. So we just changed the i7 value on all of these to 8. Then we go to the i9 and i10 values. So for i9, we need 20 through 23. It's 21, 22, sorry, 20, 21, 22, 23. So those were 10, 11, 12, 13. So this one needs to be 14. Make that one 15. This is the number of the slot in the crest. Okay, so we're done with the center. So now we move on to the left tile. It's kind of a lot of information, and I would recommend that you do reference a tutorial, because it's handier for beginners. This is just essentially a visual aid to the tutorial. So let's hop back over to that i7 value and change that back to 8 for deco. Commit it. Oh, sorry. So we need, okay, we did 23. So we got 24 on this tile. We reference slots, or the lines 24 to 27 in the i9. So we hop back over to the I9, and that's 24, 25, 26, and 27. And then the order, okay, it needs to come after 17. So for I10, it needs to be 18, 19, 20, and this should have been 27. Don't know what happened. 21. Let's commit that. Save. So if we've done everything correctly, which I probably haven't, we now have 12 additional slots in this object. So we go to slots workshop, just going to copy that. Then I go to my current game, downloads, and I'll just paste that in my test folder. And today I have the sci-fi game loaded because I'm making outfits. So it should load super fast in comparison to the other ones. So because this is the previous version, what I did was just clone it. So now we should have the correct slots. So you can see if I compare it to the other object, for the center it's cool, but then this one, the first slot on this one, I think I entered the X value incorrectly because it's placing it way over here. See, this one is centered. It's a lot more. If you compare the center left slot to the original center left slot, it's way different. That's the right slot. I think the X value on that is wrong. Okay, so something is up here. So let's make a note of that. So right has wrong X. Okay, not a huge deal. We can go back and correct it. And then for some reason, okay, so we can see the first slot is cool. The second slot, I don't know what's happening. Where did that bottle go? It helps to notate exactly which slot you're having the issues with too when you go back to troubleshoot it later. So Deco 3 is fine. It might be just the order of them. Okay, on to the center. Okay, I don't even know what's happening because I don't even know what's happening with the center. So the this tile, the second slot on every tile is just vanishing for some reason. Hmm. Well, that's no good. So it has to be the crest. It's the way that they're positioned. Okay, so we know that the coffee table slots are fine. We just need to determine. Okay, they have the same X value. Okay, that's odd. Why does it have the same Y? Okay, the X value should be different. That's just so odd. Okay. So Deco, let's get the coordinates from Deco too. Okay, that should be okay. -3. So how did that happen? I think I just miscalculated. That should be +3. Yeah, I just calculated wrong. Okay, and then 3 is good, but then 4 is wrong. So 4. No, sorry. 1, 2. I'm counting wrong. That's why. What have I got going on here? Okay, so that's Deco 2. Oh, let's do it that way. Deco 3. So Deco 4 should have the same X value as Deco 1. Okay, and then Deco 6. Let's call that one Deco 6. So should be 1.244. That's why it's wrong. This is the most difficult part. And then Deco 8 should have the same value as Deco 5. The same X value. Okay, there's a method to my madness. Okay, so Deco 9 is good. Deco 10 needs to change. Deco 10 should be... Okay, I see what happened. Deco 10 should be same as Deco 11. And then deco 12 should have the same X value as deco 9. X value. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, one more time.
Third time lucky.
Yeah, we can hope. Think it'll be right this time. Okay, there's the center slots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Let's do a different model on this one. Why? Or 6? No, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then 9, 10, 11, 12.
Congrats.
So we got it right. Third time's a charm. Let's hang on. Let me get a beauty shot of that before I exit out of my game. So there you are. You just got to tinker with the C object trans node in the crest until you get it in the right position. And that's it.